Have you ever felt it? That quiet ache in the center of your chest? It's not loneliness, not exactly. It's a pull, a profound yearning, a feeling that you were woven from the threads of connection, designed for a tribe, for a circle of warmth that you can't always find in this loud, bustling, often disconnected world. It's the invisible string that tugs on your heart when you see someone sitting alone in a crowded room, a feeling that says, go to them. It's the pain you feel when a friend is hurting, a visceral impulse to absorb their pain, even for a moment. It's the deep, unspoken question that echoes in our quiet moments. Do I belong here? Am I wanted? Is there truly a place for me? For centuries, we've called this feeling by many names: compassion, empathy, desire, need. But what if I told you there is a language, a precise, elegant, descriptive language that can help us understand this fundamental human drive not as a vague emotion, but as a specific, mechanical, and deeply sacred energy? The language is called human design, and tonight I want to share with you one specific word in that language, one energetic frequency that is, I believe, the very starting point of community, of true empathy, and of our return to one another. It's an energy known simply as Gate 19, also called the Gate of Wanting or the Gate of Approach. And while Gate 19 is a cornerstone of empathy, it is not the whole story. It's the first tender note in a beautiful complex chord. We'll listen to that full chord tonight. Now, before we go too deep, let's get on the same page. Human design isn't a dogmatic belief system. It's a map, a framework for self-compassion. It suggests that we are all wired with specific energetic frequency. Think of it like a cosmic sound mixer inside of your soul. Every person has 64 distinct channels, what we call gates. They are themes of the human experience. And for each one, we all have 3 sliders: intensity, frequency, and quality. Intensity is how strongly you feel this energy. Frequency is how often does this energy show up in your life. And the most important one, the one we have the most influence over, is quality. How healthy is this energy being expressed? Is it a fearful shadow, or its empowered gift, or its highest, most divine expression? Some of these channels are consistently, I guess you would say, on for us. That's what we call defined in human design. It's our nature, our blueprint. But here's the most beautiful part. We all have access to every single one of these 64 energies, these themes. We are all developing our relationship with each of them. So tonight, whether Gate 19 is a consistent part of your nature or not, this is your story. This is our story. Gate 19 is located in the root center in the human design vocabulary. The energy hub at the base of our spine, associated with pressure, adrenaline, and the life-sustaining drive to survive and thrive. And Gate 19 provides a very specific pressure. The pressure to ensure that fundamental needs are met. What needs? Well, the obvious ones, of course: food, shelter, resources. But it goes so much deeper. Gate 19 is the pressure for physical touch, for affection, for emotional support, for a sense of belonging. And mystically, it is the pressure to have a connection to something sacred, to have a God to worship. It is the energy that wisely knows a community is not healthy if people are hungry. But it also knows a community is not healthy if a people have no faith. Think of it as a pure, open, vulnerable energy of a small child reaching out for its parent. There is no shame in that reach, no manipulation. It is pure, instinctual expression of need. Hold me, feed me, see me. That is Gate 19 in its essence. It is the antenna of the human spirit, exquisitely sensitive to what is lacking. In our modern world, the antenna is often overwhelmed. We live in an age of paradoxical isolation, starving for real connection. This is where quality slider of gate 19 becomes so crucial, when the sensitive, childlike energy is wounded by rejection, neglect, by a culture that tells it needing is weakness. It slides into its shadow. The shadow of 19, in this case, is called codependence. And for those of you in the room who know this feeling intimately, let's be honest about what the shadow feels like. It's not just a word on a chart. It's a fever and a chill of the soul. The fever is the face of the needy, the people pleaser. You say yes when your body is screaming no. You anticipate others' needs not just from kindness, but from a desperate hope that your helpfulness will make you indispensable. It's the agony of checking your phone again and again, waiting for the text that will reassure you that you are still loved. Your unconscious mantra is, I must be needed to survive. Then there is a chill. This is the face of the isolated, the person so wounded by past rejection that they've built a fortress around their heart. Their mantra is, I don't need anyone. It's safer to be alone. But this fierce independence is just the other side of the same codependent coin. Your life is still defined by the fear of your own needs. If you recognize yourself in this description, please hear me. This is not a life sentence. It is not a character flaw. It is a wound. And all wounds can be healed. The shadow is simply your soul's cry for a safer, more loving connection, starting with yourself. As the brilliant researcher Dr. Brené Brown reminds us, vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. The shadow of codependence is a life spent running from that vulnerability, but it's a race we can never win. So what happens when we stop running? What happens when we dare to turn up the quality slider? We move from the shadow of codependence into the gift of sensitivity. And if you are one of those people who has been told their entire life you are too sensitive, I want you to hear this. Your sensitivity is not a liability. It's your superpower. When honored, it is the soil from which all true community grows. The gift of sensitivity isn't a fragile, overburdened state of the shadow. It is empowered empathy. It's the courage to approach another human being not with a desperate plea, but with a gentle, grounded offering of, I see you. People living in this gift are the quiet weavers of our world. A friend once told me a story of someone. They were on the verge of making a terrible life choice, feeling utterly alone. A colleague, sensing something was off, simply came to their desk, placed a cup of tea there and said, I don't know what's going on, what you're going through, but I'm on your team. That small act noticing of approach was enough to break the spell of their isolation and change their course of their life forever. That is the power of this gift. The Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh taught, quote, deep listening is the kind of listening that can help relieve the suffering of another person. Your sensitivity is the doorway to that deep listening. It is the embodiment of a profound truth articulated by the poet John Donne centuries ago. Quote, no man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind. And therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. This involvement, this sacred interconnectedness, is the gate of Gate 19. That's the gift of Gate 19. Now, I promise you that Gate 19 was just the first note in a beautiful chord. Let's listen to how the rest of the music is made. This is where we see the true genius of this map of human design, the map of our design. How it can hold the complexity of a topic like empathy, which so often feels messy and confusing. Empathy isn't one thing. It's a council, it's a symphony, and human design shows us the different sections of the orchestra. First, there's the tribal section, the string section of the heart. This is where Gate 19 lives. Its job is to provide tangible, conditional support. Gate 19, our sensitive antenna, reaches out with a need. It connects to its partner, Gate 49, which is the gate of principles. Gate 49 is the gatekeeper of the tribe. If the bargain is accepted, another energy often comes into play. And that would be Gate 37, the gate of friendship. This is the warmth, the hug, the shared meal. So the tribal empathy flow is 19, the sense for the need for a hug. And 49, that says, you are safe with us. And 37 delivers the embrace. But what about empathy for a stranger? That comes from a different section, the collective section. This is the deep, resonant brass section, telling the stories of the human experience. The empathy is born from Gate 30. That's the gate of feelings, a burning desire to experience life. The desire inevitably leads to Gate 36, which is the gate of crisis, often it's called, where we learn compassion by walking through sometimes our own fire. The empathy of Gate 36 doesn't say, I'll fix it for you. It says, I see your humanity. Then Gate 13, the gate of the listener, the gate of the witness, creates a safe harbor for those stories to be told, turning individual pain into collective wisdom. Finally, there's the individual section. This is the lone flute playing a haunting and original melody. This is Gate 55, the gate of the spirit. This energy isn't focused on you at all. It is focused on being radically authentic to its own emotional wave. Its gift of empathy is its freedom. Now, let's get clearer on how these different energies operate, because this is where we begin to master the art of connection. Tribal empathy is a personal and action-oriented. It asks, how can I tangibly support you so your bond remains strong? It wants to do something, bring the food, give the hug, offer the help. It is the energy of, I've got your back. Gate 19 is the one that senses your back is vulnerable and needs guarding in the first place. Collective empathy, on the other hand, is impersonal and reflective. It is not about doing, but about understanding. Its driving question is, what is the universal truth in your story that connects you to all of this? It doesn't offer a solution. It offers a mirror, reflecting our shared humanity. This is the friend who doesn't try to cheer you up, but simply sits with you in the darkness of your crisis. Gate 36. And listens to your story. Gate 13. Without judgment. And the individual empathy is internal and energetic. It's the most paradoxical. It doesn't ask about you at all, actually. It asks, how can I be true to my own spirit right now? It's not checking in. It's trying to figure out. Its gift is not an action or a story, but a frequency. It is the friend who is so comfortable in their own melancholy, Gate 55, that they give you permission to feel your own without needing to fix it or explain it. This is why our best intentions can sometimes miss the mark. This is why we get empathy sometimes very wrong. When your friend is sharing a story of heartbreak, a collective experience needing a listener, and you jump in with unsolicited, what we would call tribal advice on how to fix their ex, it feels invalidating. When your partner needs a tribal hug and reassurance, and you retreat into your own moody individual space, it feels like rejection. Understanding this vast tapestry doesn't diminish Gate 19. It clarifies its profound and specific role. Gate 19 isn't meant to do everything. It is the sacred initiator of the most intimate, tangible, and foundational form of care. It is the one that pulls the first thread, inviting us into the weave of the tribe. And when the tribal energy is lived at its highest frequency, it transcends even the gift of sensitivity. Let's talk about it. It moves into a realm our modern world struggles to comprehend. It moves into the realm of sacrifice. That is the highest expression of Gate 19. Now I know that word brings to mind loss, pain, but that is a misunderstanding of its sacred root. The word sacrifice comes from the Latin sacra facere, meaning to make holy. The highest expression of Gate 19 is the complete surrender of the small, separate self to a higher unified love. It's the point where the boundary between my needs and your needs dissolves into a state of enlightened oneness. It's the recognition that we are all just walking each other home. As the sage Ram Dass said, it is the state of being where you give not to get, but because the giving and receiving have become the same joyous flow. This is the devotion. This is consecration. I have for you a short piece, a poem, to try to capture this shift, this holy exchange. I call it the altar of self. The time for clutching at the bread is done. The fear of ending up the lonely one. I walk up to the altar not in dread, but with the single prayer my soul has said. I do not bring a lamb, I do not bring a dove, I only bring a small and frightened love. I lay it down. My need to be approved. The story that I am unloved, unmoved. And in its place a space begins to grow, a stillness where the healing waters flow. My hands once clenched, now open to extend, no longer asking, will you be my friend? They simply offer, with no thought of gain, a shelter from the cold, a balm for pain. And here's the secret, beautiful and bright. In lighting your lamp, my world is filled with light. To make you sacred is to make me so. The only way to live, the only way to know. This is the path of the Bodhisattva, the path of the saint, and from my own tradition, it is the path of Christ. Think of it. Here was a being who embodied every form of empathy, the tribal care. He showed his small band of disciples, the collective compassion he felt for the multitudes, the individual integrity he held in the Garden of Gethsemane. His sensitivity was so profound, he could feel the faith of a single woman touching the hem of his garment in a crowd. He modeled a love that never asked, are you worthy? But only, are you in need? He met their physical needs, feeding 5,000. He met the spiritual needs, offering living water. And ultimately, he made the ultimate sacrifice. He made his entire life and death a sacred offering, dissolving the boundary between God and man, taking all our pain, all our need, all our isolation into himself, and transmuting it into grace. He didn't just teach empathy. He was empathy. He is perfect, flawless expression of this energy. He is the ultimate answer to the question that Gate 19 asks. So, what does that mean for us here, now, in this room? It means that the quiet ache inside of you is not a flaw, it is a feature. It is the homing beacon. It is a divine invitation. It is inviting you to be more sensitive, not less. It is inviting you to have the courage to approach the person who is on the outside. It is inviting you to build real community based not on superficial likes, but on the sacred bargains of mutual support and shared principles. It is inviting you to turn up the quality slider on your own life, to look at your own relationships and ask, is this codependence or is this connection? Am I giving from fear or from a place of fullness? You don't have to solve the world's loneliness crisis. You have to just answer the call to be the person in front of you. You just have to answer the call of the person in front of you. Start with your family, your friends, then your community. Be the one who notices. Be the one who listens. Be the one who brings them something they need. Because the world doesn't change through grand pronouncements. It changes one sacred interaction at a time. It changes every time one of us chooses to live with profound and simple understanding that we are truly involved in mankind, that the bell indeed tolls for all of us, and that our greatest journey is the one we take back to each other and back to the divine source of all love. Thank you for listening. And with that, good night.